Welcome to Legislative News Kenya. In today's episode, we're taking a fascinating journey back in time to explore the rich history of the Parliament of Kenya. From its colonial roots to its evolution into the vibrant legislative body it is today, we'll delve into the key milestones, significant figures, and pivotal moments that have shaped our nation's governance. Stay tuned as we uncover the stories and events that have defined the Kenyan Parliament and its crucial role in our democracy. Let's get started. The story of Kenya's Legislative Assembly begins in the colonial era with the establishment of the Legislative Council, LegCo, through the East African Order in Council in 1906. The LegCo held its first session on August 16, 1907, in a building along what is now Haile Selassie Avenue. The initial goal was to protect the interests of white settlers and to legislate for the East Africa Protectorate. The first significant bill the LegCo addressed was the abolition of slavery's legal status in the East African Protectorate. Initially, the LegCo was composed entirely of Europeans, including the governor as the chairperson and 6 other members. Over time, the LegCo evolved, notably with the inclusion of Alibai Mullah Jivanji, an Indian, in 1909, marking the beginning of non-European representation. In the years that followed, there were ongoing efforts to expand representation. In 1919, legislation allowed for the election of European members, and by 1924, Indians and Arabs were also granted representation. Africans began to be included in the LegCo in the 1940s, with Eliud Matu becoming the first African member in 1944. The post-World War II period saw further changes, leading to the first election of African representatives in 1957. Key figures such as Tom Mboya, Oginga Odinga, and Daniel Arap Moi were elected, reflecting a significant step towards inclusive governance. The Lennox-Boyd Constitution of 1958 further expanded the LegCo to include more Africans, Europeans, Asians, and Arabs. In 1960, the Lancaster House Conference brought about changes that led to the formation of a bicameral parliament with the Senate and the House of Representatives. The first Senate met in June 1963, with Timothy Chitasi Mwinga Chokwe as the first Senate Speaker. However, by 1966 the Senate was abolished, and Kenya reverted to a unicameral system. The Legislative Assembly continued to evolve, with notable milestones such as the election of the first African Speaker, Hon. Frederick Mbidi G. Mati, in 1970, and the election of the first women members of Parliament. The transition to multi-party politics in 1992 and the subsequent increase in parliamentary seats reflected Kenya's growing democratic landscape. A major achievement was the establishment of the Parliamentary Service Commission in 1999, which granted Parliament budgetary autonomy and managerial independence. This autonomy allowed for significant developments in parliamentary capacity and infrastructure, culminating in the 2010 Constitution that re-established a bicameral parliament with the Senate and the National Assembly.